Hello there, Are you comfortable right now? I doubt it. Wrists and ankles chained, gagged, probably blindfolded. You're disorientated and scared too, I would imagine. Perfectly normal under the circumstances. For a little while, at least, you need to get your shit together and listen to this tape. It is very relevant to your situation. I'm going to tell you in detail why you have been kidnapped, what's going to happen to you, and how long you'll be here. I don't know the details of your capture because this tape is created July 23rd, 1993 as a general advisory tape for future female captives. The information I'm going to give you is based on my experience dealing with captives over a period of several years. If, at a future date, there are any major changes in our procedures, this tape will be upgraded. Now, you're obviously here against your will, totally helpless, don't know what you're at, don't know what's going to happen to you. You're very scared or very pissed off. I'm sure that you've already tried to get your wrists and ankles loose, and you know you can't. Now you're just waiting to see what's going to happen next. You probably think you're going to be raped, and you're f***ing sure right about that. Our primary interest is in what you've got between your legs. You'll be raped thoroughly and repeatedly in every hole you've got. Because, basically, you've been snatched and brought here for us to train and use as a sex slave. Sound kind of far out? Well, I suppose it is to the uninitiated, but we do it all the time. It's going to take a lot of adjustment on your part, and you're going to like it a f***ing bit. But I don't give a big rat's ass about that. It's not like you're going to have any choice about the matter. You've been taken by force, and you're going to be kept and used by force. What all this amounts to is that you're going to be naked and chained up like an animal to be used and abused any time we want to, any way that we want to. And you might as well start getting used to it, because you're going to be kept here and used till such time as we get tired of f***ing around with you. And we will, eventually, in a month or two, maybe 3, it's no big deal. My lady friend and I have been keeping sex slave for years. We both have kinky hang-ups involving dungeon games, etc. We found that it is extremely convenient to keep 1 or 2 female captives available constantly to, well, satisfy our particular needs. We are very selective when we snatch a girl to use for these purposes. It goes without saying that you have a fine body and you're probably young, maybe very young, because for our purposes we prefer to snatch girls in the early to mid-teens, sexually developed but still small-bodied, scared s***s, easy to handle and easy to train, and they usually have tight little p***s in our assholes. They make perfect slaves. Any time that we go on a hunting trip, we can't find a little teenager, we usually start hitting the gay bars, look for a well-built, big lesbian. I thoroughly enjoy and screwing around with lesbians, and that's as much danger of them carrying a sexually transmitted disease. And I don't like using condoms. Also, even though they're a little older, unless they've been playing with dildos a lot, they still have a tight hole between their legs, like the younger girls. If we can't find a lesbian that we want, we snatch anything that is young, clean and well built. We very seldom come back empty-handed, because there's plenty of bitches out there to choose from. And with a little practice in deception, most of them is very easy to get, with little risk. At this point, it makes little difference what category you fall in. You're here and we're going to make the most of it. You're going to be kept in a hidden slave room. It is relatively soundproof, escape-proof, and it is completely stocked with devices and equipment to satisfy our sexual fetishes and deviations. There may or may not be another girl in the room. Occasionally, for variety, we like to keep 2 slaves in at the same time. In either case, as the new girl, you'll definitely be getting the most attention for a while. Now, as I said earlier, you're going to be kept like an animal. I guess I've been doing this too long. I've been ever since I was old enough to jerk off and tie little girls' hands behind their back. As far as I'm concerned, you're a pretty piece of meat to be used and exploited. I don't give a flying f*** about your mind or how you feel about this situation. You may be married, have a kid or two, boyfriend, girlfriend, a job, car, payment. I don't give a rat's ass about any of that, and I don't want to hear about it. It's something you're going to have to deal with after you're turned loose. I make it a point never to like a slave, and I sure don't have any respect for you. Here, your status is no more than that of one of the dogs or one of the animals out in the barn. Your only value to us is in the fact that you have an attractive, usable body. And, like the rest of our animals, you will be fed and watered, kept in good physical condition, kept reasonably clean, and allowed to use a toilet when necessary. In return, you're going to be used hard, especially during your first few days while you're new and fresh. You're going to be kept changing a variety of different positions, usually with your legs or knees forced wide apart. Your is going to get a real workout, especially your hole, because I'm into animal sex. Also, both of those holes are going to be subjected to a lot of use, with some rather large dildos, among other things. And it goes without saying that there's going to be a lot of oral sex. On numerous occasions, you're going to be forced to suck and eat until your jaws ache and your tongue is sore. You may not like it, but you're going to do it. And that's the easy part. Our fetishes and hang-ups include stringent bondage, dungeon games, a little sadism, nothing serious but uncomfortable and sometimes painful. Just a few little hang-ups that we like to use when we're getting off on the bitch. If you're a young teeny bopper and ignorant about fetishes and deviations, you're about to get an enlightening crash course in sex. Who knows, you may like some of it. It happens occasionally. If you want to take the time and trouble, even under these conditions, most bitches can be brought to orgasm. And I've already told you that you're going to be here a month or 2, or maybe 3, if you keep us turned on. If it's up to my lady, we'll keep you indefinitely. She says it's just as much fun and less risky, but personally I like variety, a fresh now and then to play with. We take 4 or 5 different girls each year, depending on our urges, and sometimes accidental encounters. Basically, I guess we are like predators. We're always looking. Occasionally some sweet little thing will be broke down on the side of the road, walking, bicycling, jogging. Anytime an opportunity like that presents itself, and it's not too risky, we'll grab her. Even if we've already got a captive in the playroom, variety is definitely the spice of life. Now I'm sure you're a great little piece of and you're going to be a lot of fun to play with, so I will get tired of you eventually. If I killed every that we kidnapped, there'd be bodies strung up all over the country. And besides, I don't like killing a girl unless it's absolutely necessary. So I've devised a safe alternative method of disposal. I have plenty of to practice on over the years, so I'm pretty well got it down pat, and I enjoy doing it. I get off on mind games. After we get completely through with you, you're going to be drugged up real heavy with a combination of sodium, pentanol, and phenobarbital. They are both hypnotic drugs that will make you extremely susceptible to hypnosis, auto-hypnosis, and hypnotic suggestions. You're going to be kept drugged a couple of days while I play with your mind. By the time I get through brainwashing you, you're not going to remember a thing about this little adventure. You won't remember this place, us, or what has happened to you. There won't be any DNA evidence because you'll be bathed and both holes between your legs will be thoroughly flushed out. You'll be dressed, sedated, and turned loose on some country road, bruised, sore all over, but nothing that won't heal up a week or 2. The thought of being brainwashed may not be appealing to you, but we've been doing it a long time and it works. And it's a lesser of 2 evils. I'm sure that you prefer that in lieu of being strangled or having your throat cut. Okay, undoubtedly, somebody has been looking for you. There may or may not be a missing persons report. and nobody's going to be looking for you here. They don't have any idea where you're at. You don't even know where you're at. We're always very careful about that. There are not going to be any knights in shining armour coming to rescue you. You are strictly on your own. And, under the circumstances, that is a scary thought. If there is another girl in the room, she won't be able to help you either, because she's going to be in the same position you're in. As for escaping, I'm sure you'll try to figure out a way. That's human nature, but it's not hardly even worth talking about here. It would be prudent on my part to have you running around in the woods screaming. It would be an embarrassment, to say the least. Consequently, you're going to be kept in an environment that is even more secure than a prison cell. If it has not already been done, very shortly a steel collar is going to be padlocked around your neck. It has a long, heavy chain and is padlocked to a ring in the floor. The collar will never be removed until you are turned loose. It's a permanent fixture. The hidden playroom, where you're going to be kept, has steel walls, floor and ceiling. It is virtually soundproof and has a steel door with 2 keyed locks. The hinges are welded on and there are 2 heavy deadbolts on the outside. The room is totally escape-proof, even with tools. Any time that you are left unattended in the room, your wrists will be chained and there are electrical sensors too. Let us know if you move around too much. And if that's not enough, there is a closed-circuit TV system with a surveillance camera. It's wired to the main TV in the living room so we can check you once in a while, or just sit and watch you for the fun of it. Electronics is a wonderful thing. Expensive, but hell, everything in this room is expensive, and damn well worth it. If everybody knew how much fun it was to keep a sex slave, half the women would be chained up in somebody's basement. Anyway, we've had a lot of practice of this, and we're not real concerned about you escaping. You're not going to go anywhere. Now, if you're not already naked, you soon will be. Your clothes will be bagged up and saved until such time as we decide to turn you loose. As far as being naked goes, you might as well get used to it. For what you're going to be used for, clothing will just be in the way. Besides, I like watching a naked woman's body, all of it, whether it be in a room or on a TV set. As I've already said, you'll be fed and watered on a regular basis. Not as much of either as you're used to, I'm sure, but enough to keep you healthy. You'll only be fed once a day, like the rest of the animals, and during the first few days, until you adjust to it and your stomach shrinks up, you're going to feel a little weak and you'll be hungry all the time. It won't take long, 3 or 4 days, and during the first few days, until you adjust to the environment, I prefer to keep you in a weakened condition anyway. Now, you already know what you've been kidnapped and brought here for, us to train and use as a sex slave. I realise that being abducted and being forced into sexual slavery is a hard pill to swallow. Some girls really have a lot of trouble with it, and I'm sure that you will, to a certain extent. But face it, you can't get away, you can't say no, you're going to be naked all the time. You won't be able to struggle or resist. You're going to have to lay there, take it, good or bad, no matter what's been done to you. A scary thought? Yes, but there are no options. Nothing that you can say or do will change the fact that it's going to happen. Many girls beg and plead, almost all of them cry a lot, especially during the first 3 or 4 days, and some of them scream and threaten. But I have a poster on the wall in the playroom that says it all. If they're worth taking, they're worth keeping. And I'm glad to tell you, just so you know, since you have been kept here against your will, we will never trust anything you say, do or promise. You are a potential threat to us, and you will always be treated as such. On numerous occasions, have told me that they'd do anything I wanted them to do if I just take the chains off. I've been offered ransom money, and I've had some girls tell me they liked it, but I like to use the chains. Money's not that important, and masochists are rare as hell. I wonder what your scam's gonna be. Not anything I haven't heard before, I bet. If you've got a chance to talk at all, well, let's change the subject a little bit. You already know that for the most part, you're going to be kept in the playroom. But once in a while, we like to take a captive into the bedroom, in chains of course. Also, we have a couple of real close friends that we party with once in a while. They know about our hang-ups, and don't have any problem with a slave. You may be required to service them occasionally, and that's an easy one for the most part, just they don't get into the heavy stuff. However, when we have a party, sometimes I like to put on a little show that you won't like at all. You'll be taken into the living room and put on the floor on your hands and knees naked. Your wrists, ankles, knees and hips will be strapped to a metal frame to hold your body in that position. The frame is designed for doggy fuck. You're in the air, sex organs exposed, you're hanging down on each side of a metal support bar, knees spread about 12 inches, position similar to that one. Jogging heat, right in the middle of the floor so we can sit on the couch and chairs and watch. Now if you think all this stuff is sick and depraved, you haven't seen anything yet. This is a different world. Among our small circle of friends, little things like kidnapping, dog stuff like that are everyday occurrences. Matter of course. Here, anything can happen, and often does. We like living in the mountains because it's quiet, secluded, private. Everybody minds their own business. We only a close house belong to our friends, and they don't hear or see anything. Okay, let's talk about your training, the rules and punishment. Here, you're a slave and discipline is extremely strict. You're going to be given a set of rules, things you can do and cannot do, and you will learn to comply because each time you violate a rule, you will be punished. As soon as each rule is told to you, it will become law as far as you're concerned. And you know what's going to happen every time you up? We use a couple of methods of punishment. The whip is an excellent training aid. So is an electroshock machine. Anytime you get out of line, one or both will be used on your body, and I assure you it will not be pleasant. There is not many rules, and they're very easy to remember, but you're going to make mistakes. Every slave does. I don't like repeat offenders, it gets me very upset. During the first few hours, the first time you violate a certain rule or teaching process, the second time you violate the same rule, you'll be lightly punished, and the third time you violate it, it's going to be full punishment. After the first day, we won't cut you any slack at all. We'll expect total obedience. Now, let's start this off right. You are a slave. You don't realise it yet, but you will eventually. I'm your master, and the lady's your mistress. You'll be totally docile. You'll be very quiet, and you'll speak only when spoken to. Never initiate conversation. Keep your mouth shut. Any time that you're spoken to, you will be required to respond, and it will be with proper speech. Remember that we are in the dungeon game, and as long as you are here, it's the only game in town. Any time that you are asked a question where a yes or no answer is required, you will respond by saying yes master, no mistress, no master, etc. You will show proper respect. Having to use the word master or mistress may sound funny, petty or vain to you, but that's alright. If you choose not to do it, you can laugh while you're being whipped or when your body is convulsing under an electroshock machine. You will respond to commands without protest or resistance. Do exactly what you're told, nothing else. Remember that you're here as a slave, and failure to respond to a command will definitely get you in trouble. If I decide to you in your or in your don't resist or struggle. When I tell you to spread your legs or to pull them back, you say yes master and obey the command, because to do anything less will get you beaten. If I tell you I want to be off, you say yes master and open your mouth. I love oral sex. If it's done right, you're going to be taught exactly the way I like it. How to use your lips and tongue. We'll be practicing a lot, and each time when I get ready to I'm going to push my down your throat and keep it there until I get through I'm not going to choke you, but you need to learn to hold your breath and to swallow every bit of If I see one drop leaking out of your mouth, I'm going to punish you. Basically, it's going to be the same with your mistress. If she demands oral sex, you say yes mistress and respond. She will also teach you exactly the way she likes it, and you'll be keeping your tongue on her till she gets off. Now, I can't foresee what kind of going to be, how you feel about oral sex or any of that, but I'm going to tell you this. If during oral sex or any other time you should bite one of us, I'm going to cut on you a little bit. I'll cut your nipple off for a starter. And if it's a bad bite, I'll cut your off too. That may sound harsh, but your teeth are serious weapons, and we're not going to tolerate any from you. I've been bitten, and I've cut off nipples, so don't around. That's enough said about that. Remember the commands: yes master, no mistress. If your mistress should come into the room and tells you to get down on the floor or lay down on the floor, you say, yes mistress. And then lay down on the floor exactly the way she told you to. If she tells you to pull your knees up, you say, yes mistress, and pull your knees up. If she tells you to spread your knees, you say, yes mistress, and spread them wide apart and hold them there so she can tell you to use dildos or whatever. A slave must always obey every command and offer no resistance. Remember that. Never say no unless it's justified, like in response to a question. If either one, or both of us, decide to put you in a different bondage position, the chains will be taken off the various parts of your body. Wrists and ankles, never off your neck. Don't kick, struggle or resist in any way. If you do, you're going to be in a world of hurt. If you're told to hold your leg out so a chain can be attached to your ankle, you say, yes master or yes mistress, and hold your leg out. For repeated rule violations, the punishments are eventually going to become harsh and even brutal, and you won't have anyone to blame but yourself. Now, I should also tell you that there's going to be times when the whip and electroshock is used, not for punishment, but for our pleasure. The difference will be that when it's done for pleasure, the whip strokes will be much lighter. They'll sting like hell, but they won't have that burning sensation and leave welts that hurt for hours. As for the electroshock machine, the voltages will be turned down. It won't be that harsh electricity that makes your body convulse and jerk all over the table. You haven't experienced any of that yet, but I'm sure that you will. To avoid these punishments, you're going to have to be very quiet, very docile and very obedient, and I imagine that's going to be hard for you. You'll probably try us a few times to see if this is real. Most captives do. If you want to, be my guest, because it's all part of the game. Now, let's discuss talking. You cannot talk. You cannot speak unless you've been given permission. I believe that rule gets more trouble than anything else, because they can't keep their damn mouth shut. They always want to whine, beg, plead, try to talk me into turning them loose. I like to listen to it. I don't anymore. I enjoy blessed silence around here. Your mouth is for not talking. Around here, the only time I want to hear you initiate speech is if you have to use the restroom, and you will learn to do it properly. Master, may I use the bathroom? Or mistress, may I please use the restroom? In response, we will ask you what you need to do. If you have to pee, you say, pee master or pee mistress. If you have to crap, you say, crap master or crap mistress. It will be done that way because quite often you will be in heavy restraints, a lot of straps on your body, chains on your wrists and ankles, a bunch of stuff like that that's time consuming and hard to get loose. If you have to pee, you'll use a bedpan. If you have to you may have to hold it in a while. Whatever the case, we need to know, and you definitely need to tell us, because if you make a mess, you're going to be punished and you have to clean it up. Now, I've covered the basics pretty thoroughly. You know to keep your mouth shut and to not try to talk. You know the proper way to say master or mistress, and you know how you're expected to act and respond to commands. If you can learn to do all of that, there will not be a great deal of punishment. We'll get along pretty good. There's going to be a lot of other things done to your body besides just suck. But for that, for the most part, you'll either be in stringent bondage or strapped down on a gynecology table. You won't be able to struggle or resist anyway. Now, you're going to be required to learn fast. Training is not one of my favourite things to do, and I prefer out with a slave that's already trained. I've already given you the basics, so there is not that much to learn. Until you accept the fact that you are a slave, you're going to have problems with it. Remember that each time you up, you are going to be punished, and after it's happened a few times, you're really going to dread it. Some girls tend to be a little rebellious. I sure as hell wouldn't advise that. because it will get you in serious trouble. Here, you definitely need to be docile. You're not in any position to be otherwise. We've done this so many times that we know exactly what we like to do with a slave. We don't go out of our way to brutalise a girl. If you don't give us any trouble, we won't do any more to your body that is necessary to satisfy our sexual needs. Initially, when we got a new girl in the playroom, we're kind of like a kid with a new toy. You are fresh and exciting, and we're going to spend a lot of time playing with you. Later, after the newness wears off, things will settle into something of a routine. We'll only be spending 3 or 4 hours each day in the playroom. You're going to have a lot of free time to rest, sleep, watch TV, or whatever. If you're acting halfway decent, you'll be left in a reasonably comfortable position so you can relax. As far as sex goes, your mistress is going to want her eaten a couple of times a day. For my part, I like getting off in the slave twice and sometimes 3 times each day, usually in her mouth or in her hole. Don't get me wrong, I'm going to be sticking my in your once in a while too, but for the most part when I use that hole, it's going to be with large dildos. We're going to be in and out of the room several times each day, but you'll have a lot of free time. Now, I've got to tell you that there's another side of the coin. Once in a while, when a that is resentful, rebellious, won't mind, uncooperative, that doesn't work here. I'm sure that you realise you're on thin ice. As long as you have chains in your body, don't try either one of us. It is an extremely dangerous thing to do because, if necessary, I'm capable of doing things to your body and torturing you in ways that you can't even imagine. The playroom is equipped with a full set of surgical instruments, which I have had occasion to use and will again, as necessary. I've already told you what will happen if you bite. To be completely safe here, you have to be docile. If you should accidentally or otherwise hurt, scratch or kick either one of us, you will be in very serious trouble. I'm sure that you want to survive this experience, and I want you to also, but you're expendable, and it's no big deal to go out and snatch a replacement. It may sound harsh and cold, but if you give us too much trouble, or if you pose any kind of a threat to us, I won't have any qualms at all about slicing your throat. Like I said before, I don't like killing the girls that we bring here, but occasionally things happen. What can I say? I would really hate to have to dump that pretty little body off in a canyon somewhere to rot. I'm not trying to scare you, that's just the way it is. Be nice, keep your mouth shut, learn the rules and survive. We are into S&M and you're going to hurt a little, but everything we do to a girl is designed to cause pain, not injury. There is a big difference. No matter how painful it is, nothing that we plan to do to your body will cause any serious or permanent damage. I'm not lying to you or trying to make it sound easier, because that would be pointless. I'm just telling you like it is. That's the way we do things, and that's the way it's going to be, unless we have problems with you. I've already told you that you're going to be whipped lightly for pleasure. The electroshock will be used lightly for pleasure. Most of the other nasty little things I'm going to do, for the most part, will be done on your breasts, nipples, and between your legs. The lady is fortunate. She can get off any time. She just likes to be a little sadistic with a slave once in a while. In my case, I cannot get off with a girl unless I hurt her first. That's basically the reason I'm into slavery, and the reason that you're going to be subjected to a certain amount of pain. Mostly, what we do to a captive is stick needles in her breasts, and through her nipples, through her lips, through her and I'm into stretching certain things. Clamps with long nylon cords on each one will occasionally be put on your lips so your can be kept pulled open. And they're also going to be attached to your nipples. The nylon cords will be put through ceiling rings or rings on each side of the table and pulled very tight to stretch your Occasionally, your will also be clamped and stretched, and we're going to be using dildos. The dildos are going to be used a lot more than anything else. And consequently, what you're going to have the most trouble with, most of them are very long, very large in diameter, and very painful when they're forced in. Your mistress will use them in your and I like to see them in both holes. Actually, that pretty well covers it. There's gonna be a few other little things that we do, nothing of any great consequence, and not often, just variety. As far as needles go, they're always sterilised. The clamps are going to hurt like a motherfucker, but they won't cause any permanent injury. They don't even break the skin. As far as the dildos go, both of those holes between your legs will stretch a hell of a lot. It'll hurt, but they'll stretch. Your is designed for a baby to come out of, and we won't be using anything bigger than that. The really large ones will not be using your butt. I don't want to stretch that hole so big that it's not usable for Anyway, that pretty well covers that part of it. Let's see, what have I missed? Let's talk about screaming. Every once in a while, we get a screamer. Some that just wants to scream all the time, and it definitely gets them in trouble because it gets on my nerves. Very shortly, that gag is going to be removed. We live in an isolated area, so screaming is not usually a problem. In the playroom, it's not much of a problem at all because of the soundproofing, but it irritates the out of me. There is a time and place. Occasionally, I like to hear a scream, but usually not. The only thing that screaming is gonna get you around here is a lot of punishment. And if you do it habitually, I will just keep a ball gag in your mouth at all times. It will only be taken out for you to eat and I've already told you about talking. Don't try to initiate a conversation. Don't say anything. You will be punished. And if you're a smoker, now's a good time to quit. I'm not going to buy you cigarettes, and if you ask for one, the only thing you're going to get is a few whip marks. Remember, when you ask a question, you say yes master or no master. If you have to go to the restroom, it is master or mistress. May I please go to the restroom? Any time that you are given a command, always acknowledge the order verbally, yes master, and then obey the order. That's not too difficult. A bright little thing like you should be able to learn it real fast. There are going to be times when you are under a stress, a certain amount of stress, and you may forget. But that's no excuse. Each time you you're going to be punished. After you've been in a few days, it will eventually become automatic and you are no longer a problem. I realise that after a while, when I take that gag off, you're really going to want to try to talk to me. Talk me into turning you loose and such. It's because with your wrists and ankles changed, your mouth is the only defence you have. But don't do it. It won't work, and all it will bring is punishment. Your first day here is not going to be too difficult. There won't be any serious dungeon games. Your training has already been initiated, so you'll have to be very careful what you say and how you act. But for the most part, there's going to be a little exploring. We will become very familiar with your body and do a little We may tease you with a little bit with some of our more humane toys, but nothing serious. It's going to be kind of an adjustment period. Don't say anything, don't struggle or resist, no matter what we do, because we are going to start enforcing the rules immediately. Now, later, I'm going to be asking you a bunch of questions. Since I'm going to be caring for your body for the next month or 2 or 3, there are certain things that I need to know. I have prepared a questionnaire that I fill out with each new captive. Some of the questions are going to be embarrassing, but you should answer them truthfully and completely. You damn well better. I don't want to catch you in a lie. The questions will be in reference to your physical condition, any medical conditions that I need to know about, medications, sex habits, sexual preferences, any childbirth you might have, period dates and so forth. Now your training has already started. Each time I ask you one of those questions on the questionnaire, there's going to be a proper way to answer it, which I'll tell you about in a few minutes. While we go through the questionnaire, you're going to be dragged down into the gynecology table. Your feet will be in the stirrups, and your knees will be pulled wide apart and everything exposed. I like to keep a girl that way while she's answering the questions so I can examine and verify anything she might tell me which would affect her use as a sex slave. If you do have any kind of medical condition, by all means let me know. We'll discuss it and we may make adjustments. We won't turn you loose, but we may make adjustments. We're probably going to be starting on this questionnaire pretty soon. You will be naked, and as I said, you'll be strapped down on the gynecology table so you can't wiggle or squirm around. You will be talking quite a bit, answering the questions, so I'm sure that we'll start your speech training at the same time. Consequently, before we start the questionnaire, 2 small electrical clamps will be put on your nipples. Each time a question is asked, you will respond promptly. For instance, if I ask you how old you are, you will respond by saying, "Master, I'm 19 years old." Answer the question completely and say nothing else. If the question requires a yes or no answer, say "Yes, master" or "No, master." If I ask you your period dates, you say "Master, my period is so and so." If I ask about childbirth, you say "No, master," or "Master, I had a baby a year ago," or whatever. Always start each sentence by saying "Master" and take your time. We're not going to be in any hurry. Think about what you're going to say before you say it, because each time you I'm going to press a little button and send a few thousand volts of electricity through your nipples right down into your You are in training, so it will be just a quick blast. But I'm not going to hold it down and torture you. But each time you screw up, it's going to be a little worse, so take your time. Answer the questions properly. I'm not going to push you. We're not going to be in any hurry. Think about each thing that you're going to say and be damn sure that you start your sentence with "Master." If you get through that okay, get your speech down pat, keep your mouth shut and don't give us any trouble, then the first day is going to be real pleasant for everybody. I'm going to put some dildos in those holes between your legs, but they will not be big ones. Basically, I just want to be very familiar with your sex organs and the size of the holes. All girls are different. During the course of the day, you're going to be several times, but that's no big deal. The second day, after you get totally familiar with the rules and procedures, we're going to get down to the nitty-gritty. A lot of it will be very pleasant for you, but you might as well get used to it because it's going to be like that for a while. Eventually, things will settle down a little, then just take it day by day. Well, I believe I've told you everything that I can. I cannot predict the future. I can't predict changes of procedure, but if this tape is being played for you, I have to assume that it is still reasonably accurate, and I can only give you advice. Be smart and be a survivor. Don't ever scream. Don't talk without permission. Be very quiet. Be docile and obedient. And by all means, show proper respect. Have a nice day.